The Mike Schickman Show on WSVA on a Friday. Great to see you today. We are very, very pleased to have as our first guest this afternoon, Dr. Taaka Cash. Dr. Cash is an expert in psychiatric mental health. And she joins us today to talk about, one of the latest terrors. And I have to admit this. This is very hard for me to admit, Dr. Cash. I left my BlackBerry, shows you how long ago it was, my BlackBerry on a plane flight.
Wow.
And I was lost. And, and I am supposedly one of those older adults who should know better. Now, I have lost relatives in stores. I've lost my wife on a shopping spree. I have lost a lot of things in my life. But losing the old smartphone was devastating. Am I normal?
Well, I would say normal is relative, but you are experiencing something that's called nomophobia, and that is where you're in the absence of your cellular phone. It's like this new phenomenon that is causing increased anxiety when you don't have your phone that's near you. So what ends up happening is that, hey, you're going to have anxiety. Just think about it. We use our phone for everything. We use our phone for our calendar. I use my phone personally for jotting down everything that I'm doing, from grocery lists down to what I have to do with my daily schedule, for even the alarm to wake me up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So think about it. If you lose it, what happens?
And you remember when the old Garmins and TomToms came out, and everybody had to get one of that. Now your phone does that.
Exactly.
And wow. But I was kind of surprised that it's almost a physical, I'm not an addict in any way, except maybe a food addict, but that's a totally different thing. And I'd rather lose a smartphone than a really good meal. But I understand that we are looking at this modern phenomena that stresses people to a degree that is unimaginable to the layperson.
Yes, I mean, it can end up causing social anxiety, panic disorder. We're seeing an overestimation of emotions as it relates to fear. It's almost like your body is thrown into constant fight or flight, like, oh my God, where's my phone? And so even like literally if you walk out of the door, you're not like, where are my kids? You're like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? That's the first thing that most people that they think about. They're like, where is my phone? It's like it has to be attached to us. And so, yes, it ends up causing a lot of pathophysiological responses and stressors in the body, to excessive sweating, to making sure, looking at, how your mind is processing things. I mean, it can actually impair the rest of your day.
They should put one of those counting mechanisms on your phone for how many times you check it during the day. I have no idea, but it doesn't sound good in my book.
Correct. And so a lot of people, I know me, I keep my phone on me all day long. I'm constantly looking at it simply because it runs my life. Even looking at the battery life of it, I'm like, okay, how long do I have to get? It even gives me anxiety if I'm down to 5%. So just imagine what it would give you if you actually lose your phone.
Well, that's the other thing, and I don't know if it's that closely related, but fear of having the phone battery die.
Yes.
Holy cow. You can always see the poor lost souls wandering through a restaurant or an airport looking for a working outlet. You see them, don't you? And they all have that same look on their face, like it's St. Patty's Day, and nobody bought them a green beer.
What's so funny is that was me in L.A. over this past weekend.
Uh-huh.
I was looking like a freaking lost child looking for an outlet, and so this outlet was randomly over somewhere, and here I am sitting on the floor trying to get my phone to just charge up to 3%. I'm like, if it gets to 3%, I can get in the Uber, and everything is going to be great. So, yes, I'm one of those people that are roaming around in the airport looking for an outlet to make sure that my phone is charged. And you're exactly right. It's like it gives you that fear of dreaded doom, feeling sunken, feeling as if, you're in despair if you don't have immediate access to a person, a phone, a thing, because our phones, we use it for a lot of things.
Well, and that's really part of it. By the way, we're talking to Dr. Taaka Cash, expert in psychiatric mental health. She's with PrivyOasis.com. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Down here, if you say something Privy Oasis, it has a totally different meaning.
I don't even want to know.
If you, those time you need a restroom and you see a Privy and you go, oh, I am saved. But it's the same kind of feeling when we not only rely on our cell phones to that degree. Have you tried to find a payphone anywhere?
You know what? I was actually talking about this the other day, and I'm like, where are the payphones? Do we even have payphones anymore? Do they even exist? How many of us actually have landlines in our home, and how many of us actually even know 5 people in our phone that we know their numbers right off the top of our head? I would only be able to call my mom.
Doctor, yeah, I know. That's about it. And my mom hasn't been with us in about 15 years, but I remember her phone number. It's one of the few phone numbers I can remember. Even numbers that you call once, twice, 3 times a day. They just don't stick there anymore. Now, okay, we know, Dr. Cash, that if we were in a PPPP, a addict center for people who are addicted to their phones, how do we break the habit, and should we?
Yes, simply because what ends up happening is that what we're seeing, I'm seeing a large volume of adolescents that are truly becoming overreactive. They're overestimating their responses. They're allowing their cell phones to dictate themselves. So what I do in my household is I do something that's called No Technology Sunday. I put everybody's cell phone inside of this little cage, and I said nobody gets their cell phone until Monday morning so that we can actually build a human connection. And so we're socially driven so often throughout the day and throughout the week that guess what? We need a day where we're actually we're connecting more so on a human level.
Now, Taaka, the big question is, is it like the reaction you see from addicts who are looking for their next fix? Do you find people trying to sneak into the cage?
Well, I do see more of that with adolescents and not so much adults. They will sneak around the house. They will find out where mom and dad has hit their phones. They will do that, but the response is not, the pathophysiological responses are not the same. Sometimes with teens, we're looking at more, they're feeling anxious. They feel bored. We hear bored a lot. They're like, I'm bored because all of my games are on my cell phone, because, everything, I'm texting my friends on my cell phone. They don't know how to go outside anymore and to just, run and walk and just, be one with nature. They're saying, hey, I feel fearful that, hey, if I don't have my phone, then I don't have my friends. I don't have connection. So that's the way that they're learning to connect. And so some of that is causing a lot of the nomophobia that we're actually seeing today.
So you haven't totally admitted it. Are you a nomophobic?
I am not. I can live without my phone. I can't.
I may need to speak to a family member before I accept this. Now, before we wrap up, what is Privy Oasis?
Privy Oasis is a psychiatric mental health and wellness spa. We treat kids, adolescents, and adults for all psychiatric limitations, to include major depression, to suicidality, anything on that spectrum. But what we've done is we've combined mental health services with spa services, because when you look good, you feel good. So when you come into us and get your Privy Elite experience, we're going to give you that mental treat. So you could be looking at getting a massage. You can be looking at talking to your therapist and getting a massage, getting your lashes done and getting a prescription at the same time. So we've found out that when people are coming to us, we want to change the stigma that's surrounding mental health, so that, guess what? We're treating the whole entire family. When they leave out, they're going to have that created experience, and they're going to feel euphoric when they leave. They're going to feel happy when they leave. They're going to have positive things to say about their mental health and well-being and balance.
Dr. Cash, if someone needs your professional advice, how do they find Privy Oasis?
They can go to us and reach out to us at www.privyoasis.com, www.drtaakacash.com, and 817-488-7771.
Dr. Cash, it is a real pleasure having you on our program. Come back and join us again, and then
Anytime.
we'll find out if we've moved up from smartphones to something new. Dr. Taaka Cash from PrivyOasis.com, a delight.